gonna try this game. I played it once, years and years ago at a PAX East. I played a demo to get a pin. It's a very pretty pin. It's a finch with some landscape in it. But I really liked it. I do believe this is about death, so probably should have put a content warning in the tweet I just sent out. Let's get that up. Okay, so there we go. So there might be the sad feelings, but we'll see. It looks pretty. I looked at some of the graphics for it. I like pretty games and I like good sound design. So before I got the stream up, the game showed an island with what remains of Edith Finch, those words sort of floating, and it looks like I'm on a boat. My character's on a boat, and like looking off the back of the boat, like back at an island. And now I'm looking down at a book that looks like Edith Finch has been written on in handwriting. The right hand looks like it has a cast on it, and there are some calla lilies. And then there's this symbol for like a book, so I clicked on it. Oh, and then I move.
This isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning with the house.
Can you hear that? That's funny. I've never seen. Okay, so I can look around. WASD works. Beautiful forest. See some lupins. There's sort of a ramshackle building in the front.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Okay, so it's gonna do the talking for me, but I want to make sure the sound is up enough. Okay, so I see when I'm far enough away, I see a dark, or a light spot, and what looks like a very interesting mailbox. It looks like a miniature of the house. When I get close enough, the dot turns into a hand, so I'm gonna click. Ooh, that looks awesome. It looks like I'm wearing a knit glove, maybe a sweater. That knitting looks neat.
Inside
So
the
I'm gonna
mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the sound up a little bit more. Let me know if that's too loud. Okay, so bills marked open immediately from 7 years ago. That's fun.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Ooh. So lived here for 11 years, wasn't allowed to go into most of the rooms. That's neat. When I opened the gate, the words that looked like they were perched on top of the gate looked like they've been knocked down. Crossing a bridge over a waterfall.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Interesting. So there's what looks like a broader path. It's not wide enough for a car. And then like a more rickety path down the side. And then a sign on a tree that's in the middle of those two paths that says "To the Finches." I think I'm gonna go down the sort of path by the rocks. Yeah, this looks creepier. It's pretty. I don't know if I should go off the beaten path too much, but I'm gonna try.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
So I did get stopped when I went too far. It looks like a rock I couldn't get over. So I will be a good girl and
The
go
woods
down.
around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
The caption placement in this game is really fascinating. I think this was one of the reasons I really liked it, is because it makes it part of the world. And I really love it when games do that. Because it pairs accessibility with the game design. You don't have to see captions like at the bottom, you know? There's a missing poster. Oh, if I look straight down, I'm wearing what looks like a leaf pendant and an engagement ring. A string around my neck. Missing Milton Finch. Okay. Ooh, nice music. Okay, so maybe the road I was walking down was big enough for a truck? Because I see this truck parked here. I'm not really good at... I'm gonna walk back up this path and see if anything happens. I think this is the path I could have gone down if I didn't go down through the woods. It just does not look big, wide enough for a truck. There's a deer. There's just a deer right there. Hi, buddy. He runs off into the woods. Is this a way I can go? Because he went that way? It is not. So yeah, I'm big on accessibility in games, and having having a narrator talk through the words.
No one had driven this way in a long time,
Yeah,
but I
clearly.
saw a few hoof prints.
Okay, so there's a tree down across this road. So walking only. Let's see if I can get back up to where that other tree was. Or where the other path was. So yeah, big on accessibility in games, so it pairs the... Yeah, here it is. Okay, so I'll go back this way. Where it has the, the audio matched with the visual, that's really good. I wish this game had audio descriptions. I wonder if... Sound effects, dialogue, music, graphics, brightness, shadow, texture, draw. Okay. Controls. Okay, so I don't see any, accessibility features, unfortunately. But audio descriptions would make this perfect. But a minimum that I don't see often enough is having those captions be part of the world. Makes a lot of sense. It's gorgeous, and I don't find it distracting at all. I think it's for storytelling games like this, I think it makes a lot of sense. Must sip coffee. Okay, so here's another missing poster, so you can go either way and get the same missing poster. It's interesting the narrator doesn't say anything about it. Okay, so sort of it has a roof, no walls. There's a truck parked under it, and like a basketball hoop, and what looks like wood catcher. Okay, we're gonna cross another bridge.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Yeah, the house is a bit ramshackle. It looks like a house somebody built like towers onto. So it's like 1, 2, 3-story house, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like all the way up one side, like on a tower. Looks like there's a garage. We're just gonna go up the steps to the front door.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Lots of missing posters, just everywhere. Knocked over furniture.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
The voice acting in this is very interesting. Like that little bit of hesitation or tremulous nature is interesting. Okay, so there's a white dot on the door. There's a finch on the door with mountains in the background. Okay, so the white dot turns into a key, which...
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Cool. We're gonna click on the... Oh! Click on the mail slot. I'm gonna look in.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
That's fun. Okay, so the key doesn't work on the front door. So this is a really interesting storytelling game. Right, so there's a ramp. Oh, I did see the wheelchair helper. Good. Yay, ramps. Check out the garage. No white dots. In that, like, it's less of an exploratory and more of a guided exploration. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just click on anything. Broken swing back there. Alright, let's see if this door opens. Yep, we're gonna crawl through the doggy door. Yep, so you're gonna have
Crawling
to,
through
like,
the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
so, we'll turn on the light switch.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
When you were 11? This has been here for 6 years, just like this. There's not enough dust. Or is we a smaller group and then everybody else stayed? What the heck is that? It's rich in detail, right? Like this kiddie pool, you know, with the characters on it, and, you know, the broken flower pot, and all the tools, and, you know, the empty freezer. You know, the tennis ball hanging off the strings, you know, when to stop the car. Like, we had one of those in every garage I've ever had to park your car in. But it's ominous too, like the music is a
For
bit
the
ominous.
first time in years, I felt like I was home.
Interesting. So she's terrified of the house. It does sound like a female. So I'll just go with that gender.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
So she feels like she's home, but she's been terrified of it. In loving memory of Louis Finch, beloved brother to Edith, son of Don, great-grandson to Eddie, Finch Family Cemetery. Well, there's a picture. Edith, so I think that's me. Eddie, which looks like a grandmother. Louis, which looks like a brother. And then Don, which looks like a mom. So that was the family. Got books here, the Pacific Pantry, Northwest Chef, that puts us up in the Northwest. Okay, there's creepy noises, so that's fun. Holiday Feast, Witch's Kitchen, A Viking's Belly, Tasting Thailand, Nordic Cookbook, Weird Recipes. The Northwest Chef is in here twice. So is the Pacific Pantry, but in 2 different fonts. Continuity. Broken Shelf. Hear wind whistling through somewhere.
Like how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Mm-hmm.
Or how only one restaurant would deliver to our house. So we had Chinese a lot.
A lot of cannery cans around here. I don't know where to go first. It's an old stove. Walk-in tempura, Tales of Taste and Tummies, Holiday Feast, Witch's Kitchen again, Raw Fowl. Alright, normally I would ask Stream, but I don't have any viewers. In case I have viewers, I just can't tell because Streamlabs hates me. Do we want to go into the front hall or into the dining room first? You tell me. I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be right back. Okay. Stream decided all. Nope. Alright, we're gonna go into the dining room because that's where I'm pointed. Okay. So there's a lot of books everywhere. I'm not gonna try and read all of them because I bet there's gonna be a lot of repeats. Which is one of my least favorite things, but I'll read the titles that pop out to me. Pacific Coast Seafood from Cove to Stove, Norse Mysteries, 51 Tales, Sublime Supper. My favorite.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
Oh, that's neat. So there's Chinese food, broken plate. Looks like there was a fight of some kind. Looks like there's almost kid Tupperware and then adult. A wheelchair with Eddie. Name tag on the back. Poster or pictures of kids. Same picture twice. Lazy. More creaking noises out back, so that's fun. Picture of a kid behind some curtains on the wall. Let's click on this.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Fun. Well, there comes a point where you need help. You know? It's not fun. I'm disabled. I need a lot of help. Need a lot of support. So I can understand it, but also it's not
Nothing in the
fun.
house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Creepy. There's that picture again. Cat bed, yarn. These bookshelves are amazing. Looks like
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
sank. Over the fireplace there looks like a house. Oh, the words went up the fireplace when they went away. That's neat. Yeah, it looks like a nice old manor house. Unlike this one. Oh, you can see the porch is broken out the window. TV, nice big wood table. Made out of what looks like a root. Lots of boxes, like they were packing maybe. I love this library. I want one like this. I want a library that is big enough that I would need a ladder, even though I can't climb a ladder. I'd have to go with like a pulley system. Going over to this corner to look at the pictures. Lots of a little girl, which I'm imagining is Edith, the 17-year-old we're dealing with here, but not a lot of pictures of a little boy. But she said Lewis started working at the canning factory, so he had to have gotten to a certain age. She did say he died. Milton Finch. Lewis Finch. Okay, so there were posters of a Milton Finch that was missing. They mentioned that Lewis Finch had died, and she said Lewis worked at the canning factory. Before we go downstairs, let's open this box.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Don't know who Barbara is. Oh, here's a Barbara Finch. Looks like she was famous. Was in a TV show. Okay, so here's a picture with 3 kids. Looks like 2 boys and a little girl. And lots of bugs. Like pinned bugs. So many books everywhere. Cello, violin. Is that cello? I think it's cello. Violin. Just books everywhere. I approve of this house. I would live here. Okay, so we're in the front hall now. Okay, so we're gonna click
My
on
mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
That's fun. He went missing in 2003 and Lewis died 7 years later. Born in 92, same age as my sister, almost. Okay, so there's an arch around this door. Okay, so here's the front door, which we couldn't come through. And then here's a door that's been sealed off. And it's arched. It's arched, and the arch around it just had books piled in it. I love this house, but the door has been like sealed with caulk. Like you see it seeping out, and then there's this like lock. There was one of these in the garage. I was like, what is this? But this one's been installed across the door. Like that door is not opening. More packing.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Yeah, I would say so. There's a million books. That's his labyrinths. The Alif. Oh, we have a kitten. Oh, pet cam was already on. Great. Seeing critically. A good table a couple of times. Okay, so we can either go upstairs or downstairs. Downstairs was where I saw the last dot, so I think I'm going to go back there. If you look at, there's a male catcher. Eddie, Dawn, Milton, Lewis, and Edith. So probably in order of age. So Milton would have been the oldest. I just want to poke my head into everything. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. I love games like this. Okay, so let's go down these stairs.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement,
Okay.
so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Alright, so we can't go downstairs. Oh, look at these photos. This is a classic. Photos up the stairwell. We're going to do this in the basement. It's going to be fun. Just one of these loathed chairs. Instead of installing one of these, we're installing an elevator. Just stupid. We should just install one
After
of those.
Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes. Wait, so Milton disappeared in 2003. And she sealed up all the bedrooms? Like, here's another bedroom. It says Molly on it. I'm gonna look through the peephole. Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
What the hell? So this room has just been sealed up. And there's a peephole. That's what the board is. It's a board 1937 to 1947. So she was 10 years old. There's mice and a castle on her door. This is a weird house. Here's a door that looks like a
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
There's a trolley on one wall. Underwater. Looks like the house is underwater. Big sharks and stuff. Oh, there's a book.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Key. Lock on a book. It works!
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Holy crap, I think this part was in the...
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Ooh, I don't want to go in there. I'm going to explore the rest of this floor really quickly before I go in there. Because this seems kind of terrifying. All of the bedrooms are sealed up? I don't understand that. There are books everywhere. I love this house. Look at all these books. Barbara, 1944-1960.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
It's like a long hallway to a bedroom in the back with curtains.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
So these are Edie's siblings? Barbara and Molly? Barbara lived in 1960. So 54. She was only 16? Seems young.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
obviously see a set of stairs here.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Okay. I'm guessing through that little pathway is the only way I can go, but must look at as many pictures as possible. Must look through all the peepholes. Gregory, 1976 to 1977.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
That's fair. This is a bathroom that was sealed up. There looks like there's a door to the right. 76 to 77? That's 1 year. What the hell? It says Calvin. It says Calvin on one side and Sam on the other of the door. But the people just says Calvin. 50 to 61. This kid would have been 11.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Why? So one side of the room has been roped off. And one side looks lived. Oh. This one says Sven and Edie. It has Sven, Hofstad, Finch on one side and Edie on the other. It says 1915 to 1964 and then 1970 to 2020. So these two lived.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
So Milton disappeared. Did she seal up all the old kids' rooms? Like, where's Edith's room? Where's Lewis's room? Where's her mom's room? Oh, this floor is creepy. I have to go back downstairs and look through the first people that I found and didn't look through. It's very important. I like this game. This is a good game so far. The mechanics aren't too in.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Ugh! Okay, so this is apparently the library. There's so many books in this house. That's gross. Okay, so let's go back up through the cubbyhole. That seems fine. Doesn't it? By the way, this house is on the water. It looks gorgeous out there. Yeah, the mechanics aren't getting in my way. I see what look like tire marks, but they sort of overlap each other. And then just end kind of abruptly on the floor. Okay, we're gonna climb in this. It's like a space between the walls. There's teacups. A kid's drawing.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Yeah, paintings signed by Milton.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
Stained glass window.
But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Well, that's ominous. So this is Molly's room. So this is sealed off. And we're in Molly's room. That's not
I grew
creepy
up
at all.
looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
In the drawer. That's so cute. More books. Very
Being
pink.
inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. There's a castle with mice in it. Pink bed, jellyfish, pillow. This is a little girl's room. Bugs in jars.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here. Before my mom sealed the doors.
I wonder why she thinks that. Molly Finch, a little notebook, a diary.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Okay, so now I'm supposed to be little Molly.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
We eat a dry carrot.
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Another door over here. Bathroom.
I kept eating and eating.
Eating toothpaste. Oh, she eats a tube of toothpaste. That's not good.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Holly. The berries off the holly. That's not good.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
She did say she had a cat named Molly. Oh my god. What in the world? I don't know what to do as the cat. I feel like I have to follow the bird. Yeah.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
So this looks like Edie's room. So Molly's their kid.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Okay, I'm an owl now.
Rabbits.
Caught a rabbit.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons.
Gross.
I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit.
Okay.
Then I
What
flew
is
off
happening?
to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Okay, shark falls off a tree. Onto the ground. It's rolling. Good. Hitting trees. Just cast me on the ground. I can make it flap. happening here?
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seeds.
Okay, so now this
Tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
What is happening?
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
And a tentacle?
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
I'm gonna follow the bird again. Like a better thing to do. Am I gonna eat
I
a
was
person?
big, but I moved real quiet.
Ah! Yep. Eating a person. This game got weird.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Okay, guess I'm eating people now. Just want to point out that they had a cat named Molly.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have.
What
so I
is
swam
happening?
towards it.
I'm trying to move the cat bed so you can see how cute Percy is. Okay, I'm still a monster. I'm on shore.
I
Water.
slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Going down the old pipe. I mentioned this game got weird. Okay, we're going down an old pipe. Toilet. Looks like we're in Evie's room. Or, Molly's
I
room.
got closer and closer. All of my stomach started growling.
I just crawled
And
under Molly's
suddenly,
bed.
I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Okay, so that was Molly's diary.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
1937 and 1947, so she was 10. Close the book. There's all this stuff that says 1937 to 1947, like pictures of her, like a little dolly. Ah, it's so weird.
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Okay. Okay, go in the bathroom. So I guess we leave? Do we leave? Or do we leave? The window? Yeah. Yep.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past.
Okay. Sneaking
Though,
in.
when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Okay. Going into Edie's room.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Oxygen.
We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom.
There's handprints all over the wall. In plaster. Molly, Barbara, Calvin and Sam together. Walter, Don, Gus, Gregory, Lewis, Milton, Edith. Edith was born in 2004, so she was the baby. Let's click on this painting.
Lewis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
So it looks like she, to memorialize the kids, paints them on like a piece
Edie
of...
knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
They got a cross-section of a tree. And she's wearing gloves. I commented on that earlier.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
There's a tape that says...
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
That's great. Oh, the blueprints for the house. These people are wild.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
72-year-old woman refuses to evacuate because of a, quote, little forest fire. More books. There's a binder that says Molly Concepts. One says Mural Sketches. One says Barbara Concepts. And I can't pick them up. There's a book that says The Mysteries of Death and Thereafter by Edith Finch. Built 1937 Sven Finch is written on the wall. This wall looks unfinished, like, a little bit. Baby photos.
Even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Oh my god. So this bathroom...
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Ugh. It is very pink. It's also sealed off from the other side. We peeked in here.
It was a pretty big trace.
Yeah, everything's pink. But we peeked in here and it said Gregory on it, only a year old. There's a secret in this bathroom by Sven and Edith Finch. It's a book that's locked, like the last one. And we're gonna...
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Ugh, weird. No, I don't want to go in there. Oh, we're going in. It's like a dark room in a crawl space between the wall. That's amazing.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Sam was the alive one. I think Calvin's the one that died. Look at all these photos. Calvin Finch, born 1950, died 1961. Couple turns land into native haven. Murder probe clues exhausted. Newspaper. I walked past some photos. Deer. Some repeats. Negative. What's down here? Milton. It's a swing and his name drawn on the empty whiskey bottles. Oh, this opens into another room. Let's push the chair away. This is Sam and Calvin's room. So I have to run away again for just a moment. Sorry about that, folks. Being disabled is fun. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, folks. As I've probably mentioned, I am disabled, so occasionally that means things pop up that I can't fully plan for. So it gets uncomfortable. Sorry about that. Okay, so it looks like we're in Sam and Calvin's room. And there's all kinds of photos, which we saw some of the prints of in the dark room. So it looks like underneath a desk tucked into the corner is where it got into the crawl space back there. It's interesting that the entrance was in Edie's room, though. So one bed says Fort Sam, the other one says Fort Calvin. Fort Sam side is all sunset colored. Fort Calvin side is all space themed.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
There's like a little tiny room up at the top of these stairs. It's meant to look like a space shuttle. It has a helmet with Calvin 1950-1961 and another of those tree trunk portraits. So he was clearly obsessed with space. There's a piece of paper inside the helmet.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
So I'm on a swing. I'm a kid. I've got a broken left leg.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
There's a kid with a camera.
At Barbara's
right?
funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't.
So Barbara must be their sister.
I think Calvin
swinging
always
back and
wanted
forth.
to fly.
Remember this from the demo.
Stop! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
So I'm building up the swing like you
I
do.
told him
This
going
feels
around
like a
was
swing.
impossible.
Oh, this feels so cool.
Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Swinging more and more. Remember. Wow. Yep. Went right down.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
So Calvin fell off a broken
Calvin's
swing.
story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
11. Molly died when she was 10. Three years before Calvin was born. So I see Molly was born 1937, Barbara 1944, Calvin 1950. So Molly died before Calvin was born. Calvin died the year after Barbara was born. And no, Barbara died the year before Calvin died. Had a rough run with kids. Looks like Sam lived to his 30s. Calvin was only 11, yeah. Looks like Odin is the oldest one. And Edith looks like the only one left alive. That's terrible. Gus and Gregory look like they're... I don't understand this. Like Edie and Odin and Walter. Who did Edie marry? Sven. Sven's like a leaf. Walter, Sam, Calvin, Barbara, and Molly all seem to be on the same... But Walter's kind of on the other side. Branch K is and Sanjay and Ingbor. Those must be the spouses of adults. Okay, let's keep going, shall we?
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Yeah, why not? They both got stairs up behind their beds. But Sam just doesn't
Mom
go
said
across.
Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Oh, I'm lifting up an entire bookshelf. It's like spinning up and back on rails. Oh, heck, that's cool. Okay, we're gonna go through more crawl spaces.
The passages were a pretty tight fit.
Oh, you can see through
They'd
a moon
obviously
cutout.
been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Oh, this looks like the... Oh, the stairwell outside in the hallway. Okay. You can see the backs of books. You can see the wine bottles. There's a way out. Not going that way, though. Milton. Oh, this is Barbara's room.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
There's like child star paraphernalia all over the place. Oh, this is creepy. Oh, I like this. There's like a ironing board. This looks like a what's supposed to be a like a kid's, like it came out of a kid's bench. I don't want to go back in there yet. Like a bench built into the wall. The music is so ominous. It's making my heart beat. It looks like she was an adult though. She's got Penelope's Diner. I forget when
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
How old did she live to? Barbara, she was 16. Barb Street. Looks like somebody stole a street sign. Spilled popcorn. Happy birthday, Barbara. Like a big cookie. Seattle Starlets. Books, of course. Here's her shrine. Dreadful Stories, guest starring Barbara Finch.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
It looks like it's a 10-penny comic.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
Fun.
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box.
Ugh.
The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Got
Thanks,
it.
babe.
Okay, I can do that.
I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So
Cool.
Barbara went to look for him, right on cue.
Cool.
She reached for the music box. and as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
So like I'm piloting this through a comic page, so like I'm in a comic panel. Rick had a crutch, by the way.
She
Looks like he had a
found
broken
Rick's
leg.
crutch and imagined the worst.
And there's blood. There's lots of blood. But this could have been from her father. So she's holding the crutch. The light over the pool table is swinging. We're gonna follow the blood, obviously. Use the crutch to smack open the
The
story
gang's
back.
leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Yeah, so this is the blood's from her dad. On the table saw. This light is blinking. There's kind of blood everywhere. That looks like a coffin. I'm ignoring it. Look back here. There's a fridge.
The
blinking light.
rattled and grew still.
I hate that. So we're gonna go towards the fridge.
Oh dear!
So he jumps out, he says, "Oh dear," and then smacks him.
Oh.
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
It's 12 p.m.
Barbara! Walter,
Well, damn,
what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Can I see when Walter died? 2005. So he outlived Barbara. Okay, so we're in the panel again. It's Halloween themed. This room is very different. So we're going upstairs in the comic book. So it's all comic booky, right? Like harsher lines and stuff, but it's still clearly the house. Roller skate falls down the stairs. Walter's room is right across from hers. Use the crutch to punch it open.
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the Hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
Slams the door, locks it.
And wherever he was, he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
We knew about this way, right? So we go in here.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
She comes out in Molly's room. Molly's been dead for a very long time at this point. It's her younger sister.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Mask.
He wasn't moving, but she
Fall over,
sensed
really.
the story might not be over yet.
Okay, I'm gonna do the stupid thing and go down there. Yeah, he's gone.
Hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but
Okay.
here Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night.
Good.
And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time.
Okay.
He took it all pretty hard. But that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her.
You?
Her ear.
Gross.
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Nope. Nope, that's terrible. It's a weird one to keep.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Because she was remembered? Very windy. Alright, I guess we're going back in. Did I click on everything? I think I did.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
We're gonna go out this way. So we've done Barbara, we've done Molly, we've done Edie. I didn't finish in Edie's room though. I'm gonna go back and, cause like I didn't, oh I can't. Okay, let that be a lesson to you. Must finish all rooms. Are you trying to lean out of the light, bud? You are, aren't you? Okay, so I'll move this back over so you have a good leaning out of the light spot. You can just
It's
look at his
funny.
butt.
All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Yep, funny. How that worked out. So Molly got eaten by something under her bed. Calvin flew off a swing, and Barbara got eaten by monsters. Like, that's the stories we're telling. Sam lived. Walter lived. Right? Yep, Sam and Walter lived for a bit. Weird. It says Barbara carved under the lid, too. Weird. Sven built a weird house. We're going in the basement. I still don't know where these guys lived. Maybe the third floor? I mean, there's a tower and everything. There had to be room for them. Only go on the first and second floor. The blood's all gone, so we kept working in here.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Models for his dragon. All the tree crosscuts that Edie was using for portraits. Can't tell if that's a canoe or a kayak. Don't know what the difference is.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Where did she put them?
I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned
Nope,
out she was
secret door.
hiding a lot more than that.
Paint can. Open the door. It's really heavy. This is an underground.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone.
What do you mean where Walter had gone? He lived to be 48.
She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
He would have been 8 when she died. Oh, it's an honest to God, like, shelter. Like, there's all this
If there's a
food.
pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Walter had a secret bunker. Pretend window to the outside with a painting. Bookshelves, couch, little train, an exercise bike that looks like it powers something. A bunk. A bench where he made little trains with all these paints. Oh, no, but Edie found it. There's a memorial for him.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
What?
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today.
This is a can of peaches.
I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
1968.
Even a monster on the other side of
His
the
hands are
door
over.
starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
So it shakes. He eats peaches every day.
And then one day, everything just
2005.
stopped.
There's no shaking.
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Eating your dry peaches.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
There's a hatch in the ground. Nope. Click on the hatch. Click on the hatch. Stairs down. More books. More books, more storage. Cereal, little snip out things to make stuff. Grape chili.
I know it's out there somewhere.
These tunnels just go deeper.
Whatever killed Barbara and Molly.
Oh, he thinks some monster got both of them.
And
he's
Calvin.
Thinks it got Calvin too? There's like a cesspit down here. Like where he puts all his trash. Probably where he boobs.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day. Even if it kills me.
The words are swinging around. It's a railroad.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left.
How do you
Or
know
a
you only
month.
have a year left? Oh, okay.
Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
He gets hit by a train. Walter had to catch his train, says Omniarch. So he
Walter
lives-
died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Did anybody know he was down there? That's weird. I mean, Edie must have if she... Did they know when he got hit by a car? Spices, he had a little cooker. All the peaches. This is bonkers. He had a shower. They must have known this was down here. You know, like, Walter couldn't have put this in here. He would have had to have... Wait, can I find the door to the railroad?
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Yep, we're gonna go through this. He says, oh, more like the train caught him just as he was getting his life on track. Just had to be derailed. Yeah, okay, bring the buttons. They are not my favorite. You're doing great.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
Well,
But
I mean,
if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
yeah, like, what got all the kids?
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Yeah, did they know he was down there? So we're in...
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Oh, that's where Walter's people, if you will, is. He's out here instead of in his room. Because there's kind of 2 memorials. The rooms are where they think the kids died. Well, Calvin died out in the swing. Okay, we're gonna go out here. There are chairs hung in the trees. This railway line falls into the ocean. Looks like maybe it wrapped around a cliff.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Oh, little solar.
But I thought you should
Flashlight.
know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Down in the ocean. Looks like some carvings fell down. It's like an old dock.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
Who's she writing this to?
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
out to the whatever's. Am I stuck? I am stuck. What did I do? I don't want to go up the stairs yet. I want to go down here and see if I can go into the water. Nope. Looks like there's a buoy out there caught on a rock, though. Big house. Okay, let's walk up these steps then. You are like falling out of this, bro. What if I turn off that light? How dark is it gonna get in here? Is that okay for me? Yeah, that's okay for me. Is that better? He's like hanging out of the bed. Like that can't be comfortable by a little love. He's such a dork. Okay, let's go up these stairs. I usually try to play for like an hour at a time, but like I'm really stuck on this game. I really want to know what happens next. Of course, I'm really worried that I found another really short game. Yep, going up the steps. Seems to be a
And when
million
you
of them.
look at the house, had that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Sorry. It's interesting where they have you interact. So this is the back of the house. Another path this way. Let's go this way.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
That's a bit weird.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
This is the pet cemetery. I like
3
how
of the
those-
gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Yikes. There's a lot of gerbils. Dogs, cats. Honest to goodness. What's that one? Like gravestones. That's really interesting.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Okay, so there's Sven and Edie. Walter Finch. Barbara Finch. Molly. Calvin. Where's Sam?
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
This looks like Edie and Sven holding a baby. Odin seems to be standing on
She
top
could
of
see
the
it
house.
poking out of the water at low tide.
Is that the old house? Amazing. Because they said the old house sunk.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house
Wow.
every night.
That's amazing. I thought there was a buoy caught on a rock, but it looks like a house sunk. That's amazing. Dang. This is a monument of the sunk house with Odin standing on top, and Edie and Sven with a baby and a boat.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand.
Oh, different part of
But
the
the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Sam, Gregory, Gus. So I didn't see a room for Gus. And like Gregory only lived for a year. Calvin's is down there. Right, yeah. Sam's is up here, right? Gus, born in 69. Oh, that's a lot of kids.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Milton.
We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
So it doesn't have a death on it. Sanjay Kumar died. Lewis. 2010. Weird little crown. Yeah, that's a weird.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
What are we really finding out, though? Right? Like, a lot of these stories are pretty fantastical. Like, are we supposed to believe that those are true, or? This does not seem safe.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Oh, that's what you're writing it to. Get to the roof, get to the roof, get to the roof. Okay, on the roof. Okay, we can see into the attic. How am I supposed to get up there? Oh, there's a ladder. Of course there's a ladder.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
So Sam was her grandpa. Okay. So Sam must have married Kay. And like Gregory's... Oh, so Gregory was one of Don's brothers. So it was Don, Gus, and Gregory. I see. Okay, so Sam married Kay and had Don, Gus, and Gregory. Don married Sanjay and had Lewis, Milton, and Edith. So we've gone through the stories of Molly, Barbara, Calvin, and Walter. I haven't finished Sam yet. And we know a little bit about Odin and Edie and Sven. Okay. Okay, so porch. This looks like a new part of the house.
They were both pretty intense.
Her mom and Sam were pretty intense. Here's Sam's memorial. Looks like for pictures. Oh yeah, because he was a photographer. Picture of him in a mirror. I don't know, Walter maybe?
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip,
Back in the
Dawn.
car.
Shooting is strongly encouraged.
I'm supposed to take the picture?
What?
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? please just take the damn picture?
Hey, language.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
Okay, got it.
I'm taking terrible
I'm
photos
gonna
on
take
purpose.
some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Last time I was with my brother. Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
Oh, I missed a
Your grandpa
line.
Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire.
What am I missing?
We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map. Let's see. Maybe. Or is it?
I'm just taking pictures
Could
of
have
anything
been.
at this point.
Dad!
Good eyes,
found it.
Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad,
Let me get behind you.
do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong.
So I clicked
Great
the camera.
shot, Don!
Oh, there's a picture of a deer being shot. She seems upset.
I'm proud of you, Don. Always
He's
remember
upset.
that, okay?
No, so she says, "Hey, I love the Seven Spoon story. NASA is hilarious. I'm lurking while I do homework. I love these kinds of games. They soothe my soul." Yeah, same. I mean, this
Sorry,
one's
Don. Just gotta reset the timer.
weird and gross, but I do like it. It's just a weird story, but I love a storytelling game. You know, I love the gameplay. You can't fall off the. All right, so what am I supposed to be doing here? I think I'm. Getting the. Oh, he gets to move now. Oh, I see. It's a timer. Am I gonna make it?
Hang on, kiddo. Just trying to get a shot of the two of us together.
Got it. Okay. I'm never gonna make this.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so-
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about.
Dad!
Well, that's one way to die, I
Of all these
suppose.
stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
That's tough. I wonder. That's the only normal seeming one, though. Luna says, "Life is Strange." Life is Strange is one of my favorites. Is that a game? I'm gonna write that down. Today's Sunday. Life is Strange. People keep suggesting games to me, and I keep going through them too fast, so... Oh, and Firewatch. Yeah, they're both games, it seems like. I have not played those, but I will try. Are they like this? Are they like storytelling games? Life is Strange is great. Awesome. I've got a new game to play after this one. I don't love horror stuff, but this one's been pretty good.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
He was big into hunting, huh? No, I'm not going through that door until I inspect this room. I'm not. Can't open that. It's got his medals and a gun in it.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Yeah. That seems true. His door's sealed up too, but there's a peephole in it. I wonder if I can look out through the... No. Brendan's game says Firewatch is amazing. Luna says, what about the deer? Wait, does she not remember all of this? So this is Edith, Dawn's daughter. So Edith is the only surviving one. She's all the way at the top. So I've gone through Molly, Barbara, Calvin, and Walter, and now Sam. There are these little memorials in each of their rooms that are all sealed up. I think she said Dawn sealed them up after Milton disappeared. But in each of the rooms are these little memorials that Edie, who's the grandma, great-grandma of Edith, she would paint these pictures onto these like cross sections of wood right here, and she'd leave these little shrines, and then there's like a note or something that tells about their death, like Molly had a little notebook, Barbara had a comic book, Calvin had a note written by Sam had these pictures, Walter had a note that he was written. Brendan says they're actually coming out with a new Life is Strange later this year. The entire series is very good. I'll have to do that. Luna says, I'm gonna have to start this game from the beginning. I never got to play the second Life is Strange. Oh, that wasn't her dad. I was wondering why she didn't remember her dad falling off a cliff. Yeah, no, this was her granddad. So she wouldn't have met him because he died in 83 and she was born in 1999. So... It's interesting. So this is his room. We don't see a lot about the spouses, I'm noticing. Except Edie. We hear a lot about Sven. We didn't hear how he died, but here's Kay. That would have been Sam's wife. This would have been her little spot, I think. This lamp is all over the place. And we don't know when the spouses died either. We do know how Sven died because there was a newspaper clipping in Edie's room about the dragon killing him. Born in 99. What is this futuristic game? Yeah, I know. Okay, so we're back at a crawl space. Meal ready to eat. Yep. Okay, so heating ducts and stuff.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
So that would be Edie's son. Last surviving child, actually. No, because Walter lived until 2005. But they didn't know where he was, supposedly. Oh, I'm not good at dates normally. So, Edie's son and Dawn's father. This little baby gate back here. Oh. This is Gregory's room. Oh, this is terrible. What would you normally get back here? It's like the crawl space is like an egress for real. Here's his memorial. Divorce contract, Sam Finch.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
That's great.
Gregory, it's time to... Hold on, sweetie.
You're gonna leave a kid alone in the bathtub?
Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. You reminded me so much of Kevin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw. It sure made him happy.
Very silly. Women's Games is loving this. Okay. Alright, that's it. Okay, let's try jumping on this. Try jumping.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
Oh, this isn't great.
There's so much I don't understand
Okay. Yeah, uh-oh.
about Gregory,
What is happening?
about everything.
Okay, I'm now the frog. And we're swimming by clicking.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
Okay. Well, we know how Gregory died. That's terrible.
I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy.
Yeah. Gregory died.
Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
That's terrible. Yeah, that's dreadful. That was their youngest. So Dawn would have been 8 when Gregory died. Yeah, that's rather tragic. I mean, Sam and Gregory's are the only ones that sound real. Oh, this is where all the oh. No, you didn't leave. You didn't make the kids sleep up here next to... Ah.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Okay, how did Gus die?
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea.
Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
I'm flying a kite. I'm picking up the words as I fly a kite. Do I have to fly it straight? That's terrible.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Nope.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife.
So, oh, because so Sam remarried. More words. You have to go out from the other side.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Oh, good. Good.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Oh yeah, kite can pick up all the chairs. And all the
Rain
words.
came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
I picked up all of the beach wedding stuff with the kite. There's the tent. Whoop! And I crashed it into the tent. The word said, "I wish that" next to it. Looks like Gus gets knocked over.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Well.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Great. Well, as usual, there's a million... Why am I stuck? I'm moving the wrong letters. Yeah. As usual, there's a million, books in here. Oh, it looks like above each of their lockers are motivational posters from the military. Social, fireman's pull down. Emergency evacuation plan. House rules. No playing outside without permission. No answering door for strangers. No messes after dark. All chores preferred dark. Respect others. Light switches for Gus, Dawn, and Gregory, and Dawn's is the only one that's on. There's a string. Oh, up to a kite. Fascinating. Books. Sealed door. Race flag. Breakfast. Quiet time. Duties. Dawn, sweep trash. Gus, mop mow yard. Greg, be a baby. Routine. Jump rope 100 times. Jumping jacks 150 times. Push-ups 100 times. Crunches 100 times. Run to mailbox and back. So they lived in their own little boot camp. That's fun. Rock climbing wall. Great. See if we can go up it. Well, we
My
can.
mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Right above them. Hooray! Oh, this looks nice though. It's all colorful.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Yeah, she traveled a lot. Fly to India, 10 ways to teach critical thinking. Dawn Finch. Can't click on that notebook. College application. Don't forget. High school. To do. Majors. Nope, I don't want to go down there. And here's her memorial. She must have... Oh no, this isn't her memorial.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Okay. Anything in the corner? No. There's no memorial for her. Oh, Edie died before
my mom
Dawn
moved to
did.
India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
Nice. So climb out the window to another rickety staircase. I think we're gonna go up that instead of down again. Although I might miss a story element by going down the pole, so I'll do that first. Okay. It's interesting that each part of the family ended up with a... Actually, can I go up more? No. Each part of the family seemed to have a different level of the house, you know? It was all the same house. This is not a safe staircase. That just goes straight off the side of the house. Broken stairs going down, but it looks like you might have been able to get up here when things aren't horribly broken.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Ah, so this part of the family lived somewhere else. Milton, Lewis, and Edith.
And to see kids in the house again.
Planters out here. So they must have lived in this house.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Because you can't reuse rooms. That's such a strange idea.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Looks like they were homeschooled. This looks like a little classroom. Edith, Lewis plus Lowell's. Mrs. Finch, Edith, Lewis, and Milton. Milton doesn't have a desk in here. Our family history, fact or fiction. Interesting. Analyze objectively, never stop learning. I want to open every cupboard.
But it didn't last.
That's fun.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
How to get in there? Yeah, here we go. Nope, click. Let's see if there's anything else out here I can look at. No, this would be the coolest room for a kid. Also super heckin' dangerous. Lots of paint. Seem to like to paint in black and white, a little bit of yellow. Paint on the floor. Lots of models. Drawings. He was good. This was him. Bed. Rope. Oh, you can pull yourself up to the next level. This is amazing. it's a domed glass top. This is so cool. This is where he painted. Okay, here's his memorial.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh, it's a flip book of him painting himself and sneezing. Zoom in on the paintbrush. It shows him making this flip book in the flip book. This shows him painting that door down there with the yellow handle. And the door opens and he walks through it, bows, closes the door behind him. Interesting.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Wow. So interesting.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
This painting. Look, some more books.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
What had Milton found? I mean, they had to live somewhere, right? Like, oh, here's our staircase. Silly me. Very unsafe.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Is it broken? It is. We go this way. We can. Like the nose of a boat. Oh, so Lewis's room was a boat. Love it. Can we climb up something? How do I get up there? Oh wait, is there a window in? Did I miss a white dot? I did. Okay. So you can go into Milton's boathouse.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Did he not? He died the year Edie died. So she wouldn't have been able to do a memorial for him. Greater Seattle
Dear Mrs. Finch,
Psychology.
as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Oh, Oh,
I asked him to describe it.
Like it's his job at the cannery, the fish coming down, but then there's a black spot.
He said he started small.
You can see like a hallway that he's walking down. He seems to have.
Imagining a labyrinth.
Like you're seeing it from the top down.
He'd feel his way about.
He's doing his job.
Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously.
This is hard. Multitasking like this.
I had hoped he'd find himself.
That looks like cardboard. Cardboard.
But he found something more. I worried about him then.
I think it's getting more elaborate.
Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him.
So now it's taking up more space. And sight. This imaginary.
It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Hope.
There's fish getting their heads
He
chopped
built the
off.
city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band.
More elaborate.
And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won.
It's like a video game level. Yeah.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
There's a boat on a map sailing.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
So you can see his mother there, like
iceberg, he heard rumors of a beautiful prince.
Love that they're doing that. That's great.
The prince was on his own quest for
Radiant rainbows. You get to pick the story.
radiant rainbows.
Love it. Yay! Didn't manage to make it through that one. We're supposed to go through the arches. Yep, I'm just gonna knock him over.
He followed the sound of his
Electric sitar. Sitar.
electric sitar.
I have to hit all the notes. I fail. Oh, this is really hard while cutting up fish, for the record.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
Seems right.
Even then, his logic remained sound.
Okay, now it's completely taken up his vision. You can
He
still
knew
see
the
bloody
world was
glove.
all in his imagination.
Fish. Oh, so difficult to multitask. So difficult. Don't see this ending well.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
So he walks through a door on the golden thing, and it's like the break room, I'm guessing, at the cannery. I'm just making sure. I have to respond to a text message really quick. This is his locker. Here it is. Here's his locker. Lots of either red paint or blood on the floor. Lots of psychedelic. Handheld game. Old Chinese food. Legalized marijuana.
He began to forget the world we know.
Ah, so this imagery matches
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
the scene we just saw where he walked up through the golden doors. This mimics that in a way.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
That shirt says Finch.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
It's like a conveyor belt. There's the imaginary world around him. He's made up.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Is that a cat? Yeah. Molly. I'll take a cat advisor. It's interesting, to say the least. Okay, going up some stairs.
rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
That's a bit rough.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Just have with blood on it, which is terrible. Definitely a weed smoker. Guess. Is there a way out of here that yeah, okay. Stairs.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Because at that, oh yeah, we saw Lewis's portrait in Edie's room before she died. She'd started it.
I wish we'd stayed.
This must be where...
But I understand why we left.
Little kitchen, Edith, Mom.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Happy 90th birthday. To teach and to learn 7 ways to create a fulfilling classroom. Dawn Finch, a bunch of books. Oh God, you have called your servants to venture.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
So Edith is up in the tower. Yep.
But it had to end one way or another.
Yep, all the way to the
All
tippy
that's
top.
left now was to tell you about that last night.
So we're crawling, and I think that's a knife, but it's hard to... That's a feather. It's a pen. She sits in her old bed. She pulls out the pen. She has her book, her journal, Edith Finch.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night
We're looking
together,
at top down.
and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
So we're little kid Edith, we're gonna go in the hallway. And there's...
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Okay, so we're gonna go in the library as little baby Edie. Edith, rather.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Is this where Odin slept? In the library? History of the Finches by Edith Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
Oh yeah, super far out.
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. Then They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
Well, we're going out to it. That's
I never
for sure.
thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things.
That's a deer.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
This looks like a bed.
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
Oh, she's in the house. Yeah, there's old furniture, old stove.
Or maybe I came back to them.
It's like the fence to the house.
Things
Oh,
I
the house is
can't
back
explain,
in one piece.
but that I need you to try
Wait,
and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
What the hell?
I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
But the book.
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
She's already gone. So she
After
just
that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
Move the arm up and down, out the window.
A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it,
It's a dandelion
but
floof made
she
out of
started getting
words.
sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
Dawn Finch, her hand.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself.
It's supposed to be like
But I
David
guess if
England.
you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Ah. died in 2017. Kid puts flowers on the gravestone. Drifts back up into the trees. Sparky little house in the background. Dang! That was really interesting. This is a game by Giant Sparrow for Shirley Dallas, 1948 to 2013. And we're seeing pictures of the creative director, technical director's kids. Like their pictures on a wall. Really interesting game. Chris Bell, lead designer. And admits Edith going down through the floorboards right above her brother's room. More pictures of the team that built this, his kids. It's a really interesting game. I guess we'll never know what happened to all those kids, but like I want to. Like I wonder if there are conspiracy theories and whatnot. Wish it had been resolved. I hate it when things don't get resolved. Excuse me. I almost wonder if there's something in the credits, right? That reveals something, you know? I'll have to try those games you recommended. I'll write them down. Life is Strange and the other one. If they're like this, that'll be very interesting, I think. I like games that do this, that tell a story, you know, and you discover the story is the game. I love puzzles, of course, too, but this'll do. It's like watching a movie that you get to participate in. Very dark, though. Glad I put that content warning up. It's interesting how they told each of the stories too, right? Like the little girl, the first little girl, and the Penny Dreadful comic book, and the different notes, and the psychiatrist, and that's pretty interesting. And you can see like the traditions through the house, which is interesting as well. Fascinating house, for sure. Walter living underneath the house for 30 years? That's bonkers. The madness definitely ran through the family. Annapurna Interactive. Little kid with a BB gun. Great. So this must be Annapurna Interactive. Megan Ellison, Nathan Gary, Neil Hamrajani, Jeff Legaspi, Jordan Marks, Deborah Mars, James Mazzai, Victor Sanchez. Playtesters. Nice. They're all books. Their names are on as like titles in the books, spines of books. Special thanks. I like on the video game cartridges. Picture of the Edith Finch team. The end. I'll never know. I'll have to look up conspiracy theories. It's pretty good though. The replay a story option is now available. Select Edith to play from the beginning. Also, you can replay through each little story. That's pretty cool. I think I missed Edie's. Replay a story. I want to play Edie's. Because I didn't see her sketch that in. Do I have to go all the way back down there? Go down. Go over here. Goes from Dawn's. Ah, maybe it was filled in then. I guess there wouldn't be a memorial. She disappeared overnight. Ugh. It's an interesting game. Sleepy now though. So I'm gonna end stream. Gotta eat some foods. Thank you all for joining me. Hope you enjoyed me being confused through the whole thing. Let's see, it's Sunday, so I don't know when I'll do another one of these, but if I can keep finding these short games, I'll probably do them on the weekends, because they're fun. I hope you all are having a good day, and I will chat with you later. Thank you. Bye, stream.